understand. Oh, hello. Marvel Superheroes is the third Magic the Gathering set to be set in the far-off, mystical land of New York City in less than 1 year. But it is the first of the New York sets to be full-sized rather than the smaller supplemental sets that came before it. So I'm actually really happy about that. I don't like small sets, but I do like full-size sets. So what do we got here? Why does that matter? Well, Spider-Man's constructed footprint was extremely small, and while Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles had a larger impact on non-commander formats, it's still largely limited to just a few cards, and they're mostly concentrated in Eternal formats rather than Standard. Marvel Superheroes, on the other hand, is a fully developed large Magic set, giving it much better chances of leaving an impact on Magic's 60-card formats. And, as we'll see, it makes the most of that opportunity with exciting new tools for a variety of decks, archetypes, and formats. Actually, we got quite a lot, and believe it or not, there are formats other than Commander that are gonna see cards from this set. So in this video, I am gonna look at the best new cards from Marvel Superheroes for all the various 60-card formats, everything that's not Commander, from Standard to Pauper to at least one more. We'll also be discussing a little card at a common rarity that should have a big impact in Pauper. So we're covering the whole slate of non-Commander formats today. If you do play Commander, you can check out our video on Commander cards here, but let's talk non-Commander formats. They're really great, and there's some really great things from this set for them. And you know, whatever, maybe some of the cards apply to Commander, so if you're a Commander player, you can watch anyway. We talk about combos, like combos work in Commander as well as they work in Standard and Pauper. Let's talk about it. But before this video takes a dip into the mana pool to see what hot singles the new set has brought, let's cool off with the latest in sleeping technology from today's sponsor, Helix Sleep. It's a pillow. The sleeping technology is a pillow. Don't knock it till you tried it. The Comfort Adjust Cooling Pillow is the superhero pillow for hot summer nights to keep you cool and comfy. Made from heat-conductive glaciotext fabric, the Comfort Adjust Cooling Pillow is designed to draw heat away from your body, keeping you from overheating while you overthink all your losses in Magic the Gathering. But don't just take it from me. Helix customers reported they get up to 39 minutes more of sleep per night, and the Comfort Adjust Cooling Pillow comes pre-recommended by chiropractors to relieve neck pain, stiffness, and soreness in the shoulders. Good pillow. But here's the real secret tech to getting a good night's rest. It's a Helix mattress. Helix mattresses are delivered right to your door in an easy to open and easy to set up box. Just take their sleep quiz and be paired with the perfect mattress for you. Not ready to buy the full mattress? No worries. If you partner that pillow with a Helix Premium Mattress Topper, well, guess what? It's also made from glaciotext fabric. So then you'll get to spend summer resting head to toe on top of plush and firm coolness that'll make you feel like you're sleeping with the window cracked just open enough. You know, Helix Sleep has been a game changer for me. I really sleep on a Helix mattress. Half our staff does at this point, and you know what? Every day I get to wake up feeling refreshed and ready to take on any challenge, like looking at over 600 distinct cards to find you the best cards to play across all formats. Look, July is right around the corner, and the summer heat is only going to get more brutal. You wouldn't want to pass turn without holding up a counter spell, right? Right? So don't let a heat wave ruin your sleep before a big Magic event. Upgrade your bed with the Strictly Better pillow and mattress topper before the best deals of the season sell out. Or just get a full-on Helix mattress. Trust me, your neck, your shoulders, and your win rate will thank you. And I want to say thank you to Helix Sleep for sponsoring this video. Just go to helixsleep.com/Tolarian to take advantage of their 4th of July sale and get 20% off site-wide. Links in this video description or scan the QR code. Thank you, Helix. So what are the best new cards from Marvel Superheroes for non-Commander formats? Well, first up, we have the second installment of what will likely prove to be a cycle of 6 cards, the Mind Stone. The Mind Stone is the second of the Infinity Stones to be added to Standard, and its potential intrigues me more than its black predecessor. Like the Soul Stone, it's an indestructible legendary artifact for 1 generic and 1 colored mana, in this case white, that taps to add a mana of its own color, and can be harnessed to give it a permanent late-game effect. For 5 generic and 1 white, harnessing the Mind Stone effectively turns it into a soul herder, blinking 1 other permanent you control at the beginning of each end step. The Mind Stone has the potential to revamp a strategy we haven't seen in Standard in about 3 years: Big White Control. This was a slow monocolored deck that made waves during New Phyrexia Standard thanks to the tandem removal spells, Ossification, and Lay Down Arms. Well, now we seem primed to see a similar deck succeed in Standard. The removal suite of Seam Rip and Erode is arguably even stronger than its predecessor, and now the deck gets one of the strongest mana rocks Standard's ever seen, providing both early game acceleration and late game inevitability. Play the Mind Stone on turn 2 and immediately tap it for white to cast either Seam Rip or Erode. Then on turn 3, cast a powerful 4-drop like Biza, Bounding Spring, or an Impeded Overlord of the Mistmoors. Once you have the mana to harness the Mind Stone, your opponents will only have a couple of turns to kill you before your blink engine buries them in value. So what exactly are we blinking? Well, Overlord of the Mistmoors is a great place to start. Cast it for 4, make 2 insects, go to the end step, make 2 more insects, and receive a 6/6 monstrosity for your efforts. You also don't have to be mono-white in this version. The old big white decks had to play a ton of basic planes for their removal spells to work, but Seam Rip and Erode require no such restriction. Quantum Riddler, therefore, is as great an option for blinking as it's always been. Warp it for 2, go to end step, then stack your triggers so that the Mind Stone blinks the Riddler before it exiles to warp. While it certainly doesn't seem to fit into the existing Steam Vents versus Badger Mole Cub paradigm that's defined this Standard format for the past several months, it's quite possible that the Mind Stone will prove both powerful and synergistic enough to breathe some new life into bigger, slower strategies that the format's been desperately missing. Next up, we have a card that may single-handedly revamp a Standard archetype that we haven't seen in quite some time. Shang-Chi is a 2/2 legendary creature for 1 and a green that lets you activate abilities of creatures you control as if they had haste. It also can tap to add 2 mana of any 1 color, but you can only use that mana to activate abilities of creature sources. Summoning Sickness is an important balancing factor for mana dorks. Anytime a creature is capable of making mana immediately, yes, Vivi, I'm talking about you. That's some dangerous design territory. Now, I'm not saying that Shang-Chi is going to be VV level broken, but he doesn't have to be to still be a key piece to a very strong puzzle. There are obvious friends for Shang-Chi seeing Standard play right now. Llanowar Elves and Badger Mole Cub spring to mind. But the unique power of the card could also breathe life into a strategy that's somewhat fallen by the wayside. Insidious Roots, an enchantment that makes increasingly large mana-generating plants every time a creature leaves your graveyard, is a popular build-around that drifts in and out of the metagame but hasn't seen much love in a while. The deck was arguably at its most powerful when Tyvar, Jubilant Brawler, was a 4-of in the list, and as Shang-Chi shares Tyvar's haste aura for creature abilities, it's quite possible that Shang-Chi will be enough to revitalize the archetype. But this is surely not the only possible application of Shang-Chi's ability. There's another card in Standard that also produces 2 mana that can only be spent on activated abilities, Enigma Jewel. This means a deck built around activating creature abilities specifically now has access to 8 different Soul Ring variants. Shang-Chi reads like a brewer's dream. And the fact that Agatha's Soul Cauldron is still in the format means players will undoubtedly be dreaming up deranged combinations that we can only dream of. Whether it's re-energizing old archetypes or inventing new ones, I'm confident this card will see play at all levels of competition. Moving right along, we have a card name that the most annoying blue player at your local games store will love shouting at the top of their lungs. We Say Thee Nay is a 2-mana blue arcane, yes, arcane instant. Remember Arcane, kids? It's older than many of you, but not older than me. We Say Thee Nay counters a spell unless its controller pays 2. If you pay its Teamwork 2 cost, though, they'll need to pay 4 instead. If you were playing New Standard a few years ago, this card probably looks very familiar to you. Historically, Quench on its own hasn't been quite good enough to clear the bar for standard playability. It needs to have something else going for it, like the Lesson subtype, or, in the case of Make Disappear, a way to scale into the late game. Make Disappear was fantastic in Standard, and I believe We Say Thee Nay could be nearly as good. Teamwork 2 is a harder ask than Casualty 1, but not by that much. After all, players often had to sacrifice 2-power creatures to make disappear when they didn't have any 1-power ones lying around. And on top of that, it's way less of a drawback to tap a creature than it is to sacrifice it, especially when you factor in creatures with vigilance. Floodpit's Drowner and Skycoach Conductor specifically play very nicely into a flash tempo game plan that would already want a card like We Say Thee Nay. Azurius Prison is a deck that already plays both of these cards and should appreciate a 2-mana counterspell that's both easier to cast and better in the late game than No More Lies. Tried and True Dimir Midrange is also a traditional home for cards of this type and has access to Floodpit's Drowner as well as Soulstone Sanctuary as synergistic enablers. Now, you might have noticed that I haven't brought up We Say Thee Nay's arcane subtype. That's because, despite its novelty, it's effectively just a trinket text. In Standard, at least, there are no Splice onto Arcane cards, but there are Splice onto Arcane cards in the next format we'll be discussing, and, as luck would have it, the next card on our list is ready to capitalize. Let's move on to Modern. A deck that's sat at the second tier of Modern for 2 years now is about to receive a new card from Marvel Superheroes that could push it up to the solid Tier 1 range. Hex Magic was an arcane sorcery for 2 generic and 1 red that exiles all the cards from your hand and draws you that many cards. But if you liked your hand, no worries. Until the end of your next turn, you can still play all the cards you exiled. It's sort of like a reverse impulse draw where the cards you already have are the ones that are use it or lose it. A powerful red draw spell with generic pips? Where have I heard this one before? Yes, longtime Ruby Storm players are already salivating over this one, and I can see why. It feels like Hex Magic was custom made for the archetype. 3 mana is a lot to pay for this card given the limited window you have to cast the cards in your hand. But in Ruby Storm, you have both Ruby Medallion and Ral Monsoon Mage to reduce the cost of Hex Magic to 2 or even 1 mana. Like Reckless Impulse and Ren's Resolve, the next turn clause gives this the flexibility to be cast either as part of your big combo turn or as a setup card the turn prior, making it a much cleaner fit for the deck's strategy than the current 3-mana draw spell of choice, Glimpse the Impossible. But wait, there's more! The arcane subtype on this card isn't just for show. Ruby Storm players are in fact the last remnants of an endangered species in Modern, people who know how the splice mechanic works. Prior to Marvel's Superheroes, Ruby Storm players could only ever splice Desperate Ritual onto other copies of Desperate Ritual. This is a good play when it lines up, as it does add an extra burst of mana, but it's not very exciting. Splicing a Desperate Ritual onto a Hex Magic, on the other hand, now that is certainly exciting. Not only do you get to add the Desperate Ritual mana, but the ritual remains in hand to be exiled with Hex Magic, providing an extra card to draw from your deck. There is a real downside to Hex Magic, however. If you're empty-handed after you cast it, it does literally nothing. As such, I expect it to be more like a 2 of in Ruby Storm rather than a 4 of. We're sticking with red for our next Modern card, but this one plays into a very different sort of strategy, and it's one that's much newer onto the Modern scene. Next up, we have a sweeper and a land hate card all rolled up into one. Avengers Disassembled is a modal red sorcery that acts as both a sweeper and a ghost quarter. For 2 red and 1 generic, it can either deal 3 damage to each creature or destroy a land. with its controller then searching up a basic land to replace it on the battlefield. Or it can do both. If you've played any Modern lately, especially on Magic Online, you may know where I'm going with this card. Over the past few months, the Modern metagame has seen the steady rise of a new deck, Boros Ponza, a control deck built around a singular premise. Modern decks only run so many basic lands. Boros Ponza, therefore, aims to keep the board clear of creatures, while you lock your opponent out of the game by removing all of their lands. The list is packed to the brim with land destruction and efficient removal, including 4 Path to Exile and 4 Erode, to complement the plan of blowing up your opponent's basics after they've put them onto the battlefield. It's a deck that's excellent at winning long games and mostly just needs to avoid dying early, which makes Avengers Disassembled a perfect fit. One of Boros Ponza's biggest weaknesses is its vulnerability to early aggression. While it is excellent at trading 1 for 1 and killing 1 creature at a time, it can sometimes struggle when boards get wide. Its current solution is Wrath of the Skies, a great card but not always very mana efficient. It's also a card that's totally blank against decks that don't go wide. Avengers Disassemble cleanly slots into the sweeper slot of Boros Ponza, while also providing the high floor of being yet another land destruction spell. Anytime you can profit off choosing both modes on Avengers Disassembled, you are gonna feel like you're cheating. Imagine sweeping away an Oscillate Pride, Voice of Victory, Seasoned Pyromancer, and a pile of tokens, while also knocking away your energy opponent's Arena of Glory, or destroying a board of Thopter tokens and zapping an Urza's Saga. Avengers Disassembled is kind of like getting to run a high-impact sideboard card in your main deck. It's an incredibly powerful card and exactly the kind of thing Boros Ponza has been missing. That's the last Modern card on this list, so let's see what's new for Pioneer. And that's it for Pioneer, literally. But there is one more card and one more format left. I love Eternal formats, non-rotating, they're the best. But what is the best new card from Marvel Superheroes for the best of these non-rotating formats? Well, sorry to Legacy, but our pick for format is Pauper. Pauper really is the Eternal format most impacted by Marvel's superheroes, and it's not particularly close. Introducing Pauper's newest infinite combo, courtesy of an unassuming little 1-mana equipment. Hawkeye's Bow is an equipment for 1 red mana that equips for 1 generic mana. It grants the equipped creature +1/+0 and reach, but more importantly for our purposes, whenever that creature becomes tapped, it deals 1 damage to each opponent. A good rule of thumb about unbounded triggers, especially when it comes to Eternal formats, is that there's probably a card out there somewhere that can go infinite with it. And sure enough, Pauper's got one. You just have to go all the way back to Tempest for it, or its reprint in 7th edition. It's Seeker of Skybreak, which turns Hawkeye's Bow into a bona fide Gatling gun. Seeker of Skybreak is an otherwise unplayable 2-mana elf that can tap to untap a creature. That's any creature, including itself. This means with Hawkeye's Bow equipped, it can simply tap to untap itself over and over again, dealing lethal damage to your opponent 1 ping at a time, provided it's no longer summoning sick, of course. In total, this combo costs just 4 mana, 2 for the elf, 1 for the bow, and 1 more for the bow's equipped cost. And you can split this up across as many as 3 different turns if need be. This combo is highly reminiscent of a combo that was banned not too long ago, the Brood Scale Glee combo. Both are 2-card infinites featuring a card printed recently and a card printed ages ago. In fact, the best home for Hawkeye's Bow is probably going to look very similar to how those Brood Scale combo decks were built. That's because both halves of the combo can be found with the powerful selection spell Malevolent Rumble, and both decks could easily make use of the busted Gruul threat Writhing Chrysalis. You could also play this combo in an elf shell, as Seeker of Skybreak is an elf and its untap ability is busted with Priest of Titania. This is important because outside of a deck with plenty of good tap abilities on creatures, Seeker of Skybreak is basically useless when you're not comboing. Still, Seeker of Skybreak is not nearly as powerful a card on its own as Basking Broodscale. which gives me some hope that the combo will merely be good rather than broken. But who knows? 2-card infinites are not the kind of thing Pauper can withstand for long, especially not ones as mana efficient as this new Seeker Bow combo. And while I don't love a card called Hawkeye's Bow becoming a key player in the format, it's at least better than guac and marshmallow pizza. Look at how they massacred my format! Not really though, Pauper's freaking awesome, you should play it. And there you have it. Those are our picks for the best new cards from Marvel Superheroes for all non-Commander formats. But now I want to hear from you. Did I leave any cards off this list for any format that you would have liked to see discussed? Let me know in the comments below. Was I being hard on Pioneer? It's such low-hanging fruit. And remember, if you are interested in Commander, then you can check out our video on the best new cards from Marvel Superheroes for Commander. That video is, you click the I or linked in this video's description.
Next time on Shuffle Up and Play.
What's up? It's Shuffle Up and Play with fans. We are playing with fan decks. Also, we're playing with a very special guest.
I'm Mark Rosewater. I'm the head designer for Magic the Gathering.
30 years, and you have not killed it yet.
I keep trying every year.
I know you do.
This goal of destroying Magic, Mark, you're not delivering, so.
And the angel's gonna hit. Down to 6.
Down to 6.
Hey! Blood for the Blood God.
Uh-oh. So the cynical loner is coming at Mark.
I will take 3 cynicism.
So we're doing a fair, logical attack here. Would you agree, Mr. Rosewater? This is logic. This is gameplay.
It's actually politics.
How is that politics?